Hello, welcome to a new video about TMS Web Core for Visual Studio Code. In this case, we are going to show about a pre-release functionality, which is about Electron applications. If you are already a customer, you will have access to this beta software. So let's start by creating a new project. Now you have more types of projects. In this case, what we are going to use is the new Electron application. So let's create a new one. I'm going to create here a new folder, calculator, and save the project here. Okay, so here is our project, and what we are going to do is to create a simple calculator that you can run cross-platform macOS, Linux, and Windows. Okay, so we could use, for example, HTML templates if we want to, but in any case, all the aligning system and all the anchors and all the functionality of TMS Web Core allows you to do this kind of visual interfaces very easily, and they adapt to the layout properly. Okay, so what we are going to do initially is to put a panel on the form. I'm going to just to close this. I'm going to align this to the top and to resize it this way. I'm going to change the border style to none, and I'm going to change the color. I'm going to set it to black, for example. Okay, so this is going to be the display. So clicking here, I'm going to name this as PN display. And now what we need is to put here like 4 columns where we are going to place all the buttons for our calculator. So I'm going to place initially I'm going to place a panel. That panel is going to be aligned to the left. I'm going to be changing the same, the border style is going to be known. I'm going to set the width, and here's the trick. I'm going to set it as a percentage. I'm going to set this as 25 and change the width style to %. Okay, that means that when the form is resized, the panel, the width of the panel is going to be 25%. Okay, I'm going to be placing here also the buttons that are going to be the buttons the user is going to press. I'm going to align this to the top. I'm going to change the border style to none. I'm going to set, for example, the caption to 0, for example. And I'm going to set the font size. I'm going to make it bigger. Okay. I'm going to do the same, but with the height. The height is going to be a %. In this case, we are going to have like 5 rows. So I'm going to set it to 20. And I'm going to change the height style to %. Okay, so if we resize, it's going to be resized properly. Okay, I'm going to be changing this. I'm going to copy and paste here, copying and pasting. In this case, the color of this button is going to be white. Okay, I'm going to be copying and pasting 4 more. Okay, so if we resize the form, it's going to look properly. Now what we are going to do is to copy and paste that column. I'm going to be pasting 4 rows. These are going to be the 4 rows of my calculator. And in this case here, what I'm going to do, I think there's 4 of them. I'm going to be removing these ones. This one I'm going to leave it. I'm going to change the color for it. I'm going to change it to something like orange. Okay, and the height, instead being 20%, is going to be 80%. Okay, so the caption for this one is going to be equal. Okay, so whenever I press here, I'm going to get the calculation of the operation. As you can see, the interface is it's quite simple to build this kind of interfaces using VCL-like alignment. So there is no need for you to dig into HTML. You have all the goodies and everything you expect from a VCL-like application. Okay. So I'm going to be changing. I think this is going to be plus minus. It's going to be multiplication, and this is going to be division. Caption 7, caption 8, caption 9, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. This is going to be the 0. This is going to be the decimal point, and this is going to be to clear the calculator. So what we need now is to get the display, and just remember that the display, the height, is fixed. So we are setting it fixed. It's not percentage. So everything reacts properly to the height changes. So I'm going to place here. I'm going to place a label, and I'm going to change the auto size to false. So because we are aligning this to the client, I'm going to change the font color to white. I'm going to be changing the alignment to right justify, and the layout is going to be center. Okay, so I'm going to change also the size of the font. Okay, I'm going to be changing also the caption, and to place here a 0. Now I'm going to be aligning with the margins, and I'm going to use the margins to set the margin right to a bit more, so it's not filling the whole space. Okay, so I'm going to be running this application. I'm going to click here and then click run to see how this looks. It's being compiled, and you see here this is the application that we are designing, but this is like a Mac OS application with the menus and so on. Okay, so I'm going to quit this project. Okay, going back to the designer, and we are going to add some behavior. Okay, in this case we are going to make all the buttons to be working and making what they are supposed to do. I'm going to be naming this button to btn operation, and on the event on click, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be changing the name of this label. I'm going to be changing it to LB display, so I refer to it properly. So LB display, the caption is going to be LB display caption plus sender as the web button. I'm going to be adding the caption of the button that is being pressed. Okay, so this way, if I redirect all the on-click event handlers for these buttons to the operation click, and these ones the operation click, and also these ones, and finally these ones. Okay, so I'm going to be running this to see how it works. Okay, so now I can make simple operations like this. Okay, so now the next step is when clicking here, the equal, need to get the result of this operation. So I'm going to quit this project. I'm going to be adding the code for I'm going to be naming this to btn result. Double clicking here, and generating the event handler. And what I'm going to do is to first I'm going to have a variable with the operation I want to make. Okay, operation is going to be a string, and then the operation result is going to be also a string. So operation to be performed is going to be whatever the LB display caption contains. And then I'm going to use JavaScript, and I can do that using an ASM block. And this is the nice thing about TMS Web Core. I can interact with the JavaScript world, and in that world there is a nice function which is called eval that evaluates any expression I enter as a string. So I'm going to be storing the result in operation result. I'm going to use eval. I'm going to pass the operation to be performed, which is operation. Then I'm going to be updating the LB display caption with the result of operation result. Okay, as simple as that. Okay. So now there are several issues. For example, if operation, I'm going to be adding this here. If LB display caption equals 0, then I'm going to be changing LB display caption to none. Okay, because that way, if there is a 0, I start with a fresh number. Okay, I'm going to be running this application. So if we make here a simple calculation, okay, I can keep adding numbers, or So well, I have made a mistake because I have placed here an x when it should be a multiply sign. So let's change this by the caption. Here it is. Okay. So let's run it. Plus 8, 9 divided by 4 equals, okay. As you can see, it's pretty easy to create all this kind of stuff. I have not implemented this button, or preventing adding double symbols or whatever. Okay, this is not like a full calculator project, but in any case, as you can see, it's very quick in order to create this kind of interfaces. And the next thing that we are going to do is to run it on Windows, so you see how easy it is. Okay, so now let's see how can we generate the Windows binaries for this application, and it's as simple as getting out the project manager. As you can see, we have here the several build configurations, and there is one for Win64. So we can simply right-click here and choose build. Okay, this fires up the compiler. Okay, once it's done, if we go to our TMS web folder, we have a build64 folder here, and also we have here the project which contains all the binaries that we need to copy to our machine. So we are going to go to the Finder. Okay, we are going to copy this folder into our Windows 10 virtual machine. Okay, so this is the executable, so I'm going to maximize this window. I'm going to be opening this project. Okay, I'm going to open it, the calculator. Okay, so now what we are going to do is to perform some operation. For example, 4 plus 5 equals 9. Okay, as you can see, it's pretty straightforward to create applications for multiple operating systems with the same source code. Okay, thank you.